It's really simple, guys. It's Scottie Scheffler versus the world. Fairway to Heaven talking the U.S. Open. We're live in 30 seconds. And a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to Fairway to Heaven, right here on Edge of Philly Sports. We are live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, you know the drill. Wherever you are watching, whichever platform you are watching, make sure you get out there, hit that like button, that subscribe button, that share button, the follow button. You know it, you know the drill. Just hit every button you can and bring the questions in the comments as we are getting set for the third major of the season this year, the U.S. Open at Pinehurst #2. I'm your host every single week, Phil Stiefel, at Beard and Knowledge. Joining me there, down below, my co-host always, Jason Sullivan at JSully2121. And we got two returning guests this week. We got the great Elyse at ES Golf Bets down below me. And we got Steve Fuentes, the Soldier Steve, sitting over on this side here. Guys, good evening. How is everyone doing?
Good.
Have me on again. That's what he's got us messed up right now. That's what it is.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. Just want this U.S. Open to start already. I think I posted on Twitter like, can it be Thursday already?
Yeah.
It's like.
It's shaping up to be a very exciting U.S. Open. Steve, are you excited for the? I don't know about you, Steve. I love the U.S. Open because literally any four of us, if we were good enough, could have qualified for this event.
Like probably never, right? No, I'm super excited.
In theory, we could.
But no, the way that the course, Pinehurst #2. Hasn't been played since 2014. I'm super excited to be able to see what these guys are going to go out and do this weekend.
Yep, absolutely. And my main man, Jason, how you doing today? Are you? I see you're rocking your Scottie Scheffler shirt again. A week when the conversation is going to be squarely centered around Scottie Scheffler. I love it.
You cannot detain great.
You can't. I love that. That's all. That's.
So I actually have it in two colors. So I'm wearing the other one this time.
Where'd you get it from?
I actually had it made. So.
He is such you had it made. I thought you got it off of a website.
No. My lady friend, she makes shirts, so she made me two colors. So
can I get a woman's? Can I get a V-neck?
Absolutely, you can.
Is she your lady friend? That's what we're.
She's my girlfriend. Bill, God. First time making it public.
I'm just here to drag the details out of people. That's just what I do.
Great friend.
Yeah, Hey, what are friends for? Kicking people when they're down, right?
That's right.
That's right. All right, guys, we're at Pinehurst #2 for the U.S. Open, and it's a pretty basic conversation to get this show started because it's Scottie Scheffler, like I said in the cold open, versus the world. I mean, Scottie Scheffler, I don't know you guys, but this is, to me, borderline Tiger Woods-esque run that Scottie Scheffler is on now. 5 wins already. He's already broken his own record of most money made in a season on tour with, 2.5, 3 months still to go. I'm just guessing here. I'm guessing that if he didn't play an event the rest of the year, he still would qualify for the FedEx Cup because he's so far ahead in the lead. And the question is, we've got DFS and golf experts on this show. The question is to bet, play, what to do with Scottie Scheffler. And we'll start with you, Elyse, as you love to do the betting and all. And Scottie, depending on which book sites you're looking at, he's plus 280, plus 300. He's down there in near even money territory. How do you feel about Scottie Scheffler this week in the betting standpoint of what you do and don't do with him?
I'm tired of losing to Scottie Scheffler personally. I have had so many runner-ups this season. I can't even tell you. Morikawa last week, Xander and Wyndham Clark at the Players. Like Keegan, but that was to Davis Riley. But I think I've had like 6 or 7 runners ups by now. Luke List, I think, was one. But yeah, I'm tired of losing to Scottie Scheffler, so I am just going to play. I'm just putting a single bullet down on Scottie Scheffler.
Talk about that philosophy, because like I'm like you, I've gone 2 straight in the last 2 years. I've had like 14 total outright hits. I've had 1 this year. I don't even remember who it was. It was so long ago. It was Patea. That's right. Like I've had just like you, so many runner-ups and top 5s. Starting last week with the Memorial, I made the conscious effort to decide I am no longer betting outright if Scottie Scheffler's in the field. I'm going to focus on top 10s and top 20s, because to me, as a small-time bettor, I don't bet a lot. $5 here, $5 a golfer. There's not enough juice in it to bet Scottie Scheffler at 3-1. So when you're making a 1 bullet bet like that, what's the thought process doing that versus maybe attacking different betting strategies?
Yeah, so I think, first of all, he's just so much better than everybody else in the field. I mean, if you look at how many strokes he's gaining per round, like compared to, even like Rory versus like the 600th person, I think I saw on Twitter, there was a stat, like, the gap between Scottie Scheffler and Xander is higher than, or is more than the gap between Rory and like 613th world golfer in the world. That's crazy. And so I just think on a golf course like this, the magnitude, like the difficulty of it, is just going to separate him even more, because like the traditional PGA Tour setups where it's like kind of dart fest, you aim right at the pin. The score is like -18, -19, -20 to win. That actually more evens the playing field, in my opinion, because then it starts becoming more of a putting contest. And that is where, even a mediocre ball striking somebody can get really hot with the putter and they can win that week. So I just think because the gap is so large that I just had to do it.
So somebody else is going to win and you're going to get another second place is what you're saying.
Probably at this point. That being said,
that's the way all of our betting has gone this year, pretty much. Right?
I know the one time I do it, and it's going to be another second place.
The one time this year I faded Xander Schauffele, he won the PGA Championship. Steve, so I'm gonna swing it to you on a fantasy aspect of it. You got Scottie Scheffler. He's going to be the highest owned guy at the top of the board. He is an almost surefire bet or play to win or at least be in the top 2 or 3. But yet again, he's 13,000. I know there's a 5K range this week, which I know Jason hates. But realistically, you're not dipping into the 5K range. So it makes lineup building semi-difficult, not difficult, but semi-difficult. Do you rather play lineups with Scottie Scheffler and try to hit that 6,500 person, that 6,800 person, or do you skip Scottie Scheffler, knowing that most likely he's going to be in the top 3 come Sunday afternoon?
I think this week it kind of is a little bit easier. I think he's actually underpriced, so you kind of can probably use him. Some of the guys in the 6K this week are playing really, really well. Sepp Straka's in there, Noren's in there, Harmon, Scott, Keegan. So you have Denny McCarthy. So guys who are putting really well, where you're going to have to do that on this course with the way that it's going to be firm and fast. So I'm just eating the chalk when it comes to Scotty this week, and you almost have to, and then you build off there. I do think there are some guys in the 10K range, high 9K, that you can maybe start with, but you already know what he's doing. He's got the best total driver, the best long iron, and the best short game. And to go along with what he's doing on his putter, I've said it in the past about he's almost like Christian McCaffrey when it comes to football. You're going to take the points and everyone else is going to take them. And I just don't see where you're going to be able to find those points anywhere else in combining 2 9K guys or a high 10K and a 9K guy with some of those 6K. So I'm just going to eat the chalk and ride with it the way he's playing.
Jason, based off of what Elyse said and Steve said, I know you agree with what Steve said. He's mispriced, or I mean, you were chatting before the show about how there shouldn't even be a 5K. If you're going to price him at 13 flat, there shouldn't be a 5K range at all. I know that's where you're going to go. But on what Elyse is talking about betting wise and what Steve's saying, you just got to go all in on Scottie. Is it simple as that? Just go all in on Scottie and figure out all the other pieces as you go about it.
On the betting side, 100%. I feel like, I mean, we haven't learned our lesson. At least I haven't.
Yeah.
And I've been so close and so close and so close. And it's just like, maybe I should finally just be smart about it. So that the betting side's easy for me. The DFS side, it's tricky because I feel like to your point a little bit earlier is that, and Steve's point too, is like, there's so many good plays in the 6K. It's like, you're seeing so many guys in the 6K that probably should be in the 7K. I feel like that's where the error comes in the pricing this week a little bit. I don't think Scottie's price is fine, whatever, but I feel like they made it too easy to feel comfortable putting 2 or 3 6K guys in there. Like Steve was saying, I mean, like you could put Siwoo, you could put Keegan, like these guys, Sepp Straka, who's been awesome. Like you could put those 3 guys in there, and then you're getting to the point where you can get like another 7K guy and then an 8K guy. Even like the pricing is not the best this week, and that's because I think like down the board's a little bit too soft.
So, and I want to describe, because I changed everything. I've had a terrible season, DFS and betting wise. Just flat out, I upped everything, and I just changed all my philosophies last week. Picking bets, picking lineups, like what kind of contest to enter in. And what I did, guys, I went all in. Like Scottie Scheffler was in every one of my lineups last week. I only did, instead of doing 25, I did 5 smaller contests. Scottie Scheffler was at the top of every board. I skipped betting. Went 1 top 10 bet, 2 top 20 bets last week. Okay. I had, in theory, I had Scottie Scheffler in all my lineups. He won. And I barely broke even. One of my 2 top 20s hit. My 1 top 10 hit. So I turned a slight profit, but not a huge, like you would think, oh, you picked that great of a line. 3 of my 5 lineups were 5 or 6. One of them was a 6 for 6. So, I had a good player pool. I had, in theory, really good bets. I think it was JT at the end there, fell out of the top 20. Well, he was my only bet that didn't hit last week. So, like, going all in on Scottie Scheffler didn't really move the needle, betting or DFS-wise, but yet fading him. Jason, were you the one I talked to that said you faded Scottie completely last week, or is it somebody else?
Yeah. No, it was me.
And you didn't have a big so you completely faded him and didn't make much money last week. I went all in on this new strategy of going with Scottie, and I didn't make much money last week. There's got to be middle ground here somewhere on how to maneuver this, and I don't know the answer to it really. Elyse, any thoughts on this?
I mean, if you're gonna go all in with Scottie, I think you just like the other 5 players, you have to get them right because Scottie's gonna be so highly owned, and DFS honestly is so fine margins. I rarely play. I just play for fun because it's like you could have a really good line or what you think is a really good lineup. You could have 6 for 6 and you still are just like bottom, like just making money. Like, yeah. So you really have to pick, like, get lucky and pick like the right players to fit around Scottie. But that's like, I mean, that's DFS in general. It's tricky, or you have to try to pivot and try to find.
Betting is getting tricky because of Scottie.
Yeah, that's also true. I mean, you might want to look into your without Scottie markets, or like backup people with placements or each ways. It's getting really tricky.
How good of a golfer?
Go ahead, Jason.
Sorry. How good of a golfer do you have to be that there's actually a market for you for a tournament for whoever wins besides you? It's just like we're seeing something that we haven't seen since Prime Tiger, and it's crazy.
Like I saw, and I don't remember it. I didn't write it down. It's just because of the way the conversation just popped in my head. I remember Brian Kirshner. He tweeted something out a day or yesterday, maybe it was, about some of his bets, and whatever he titled his whatever type of bets he was making, I had never even heard of it. So I kind of feel like sports books and fantasy sites are even trying to evolve what they do because let's be honest, when Tiger went on this type of run, DFS golf wasn't a thing really. There was betting on golf. There might have been a few contests in golf, on DraftKings in the early 2000s, maybe. But like this is new. And I don't think even DraftKings or Fanduel or Bet365, I don't think any of them even know on their end how to make it, I guess, more fan-friendly, more degenerate-friendly. I don't know. Steve?
And yeah, they're almost like handcuffed by how the other golfers are even doing, because you look at the gap between Scheffler and Morikawa last week. The next guy who got you any points would have been Hadwin and your guy Bazunho. So it's like Elyse was saying, you need to almost get it right on with, if you're going Scottie, and then your rest, your other 5 guys, you need to get almost the rest of them in the top 10 in order for you to see anything, like if you're going all in like yourself. But then if you're not going to use Scottie, you need to have literally the rest of from 2 down to 6 and 7 in your lineup if you're going to go Jason's route and completely fade him. So it's hard, especially when you, like you said, you haven't seen it since Tiger. And when Tiger was here, we didn't have all these outlets to be able to try and figure out how to do this stuff. So it's definitely, it's almost like the course has to play. You almost have to challenge Scottie and not the field on hole placement and how the rough is going to be cut. Whoever's designing the course has to go, oh yeah, no, Scottie's playing, all right, so this is how we're gonna play the course today. Don't worry about the other guys. We're just gearing towards how can we make this difficult for Scottie.
I think that's the question too, is that's what I was thinking about earlier, is like, what's the path to not play Scottie? Like, what needs to happen? And that's the hardest thing at this course, to try to figure it out. It's like last week I convinced myself of fading Scottie, which I think I broke even for the week, so it was nothing. I mean, it was kind of a wash, so it didn't really tell me too much. But like, it's like I was trying to figure out the path earlier. Like, say, okay, so this course literally is perfect for him, long and straight, like you said, and his around the green game is the best in the world. So what's the path? I don't know what the answer is to that question. So that's the tricky part. And then I also want to touch on one more point real quick?
Yeah.
I actually wanted to ask Elyse about this. So BK, what he was saying, it's called the Dual Forecast U.S. Open, and it's I don't know what that is.
I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah,
That's meaning you're betting like Scottie and then somebody else, like say Xander, to come 1, 2.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like,
So you're betting somebody first place and second
And second,
place.
exactly. Yep.
his bets are Colin, Scottie Brooks, Rory, Colin. That makes sense.
Yeah, so
Okay,
Scottie
good.
would be 1, Brooks would be second. Yep.
Okay.
I said, and I guess sports books are going to have to do more creative things like that, or the without Scottie market, or, you got to get creative because, again, what's a smarter, like, just say you got a unit and just say, just for numbers, for easy math, $10 is a unit. Is it smarter to put one $10 bet on Scottie at 3-1? Or is it smarter to go like this week? I've got a Xander top 10, a Rory top 10, a Xander top 10, a Colin top 10, and a Rory top 20, something like that. And I split my $10 evenly between those 3 guys. 2 or 3 of those guys probably are going to win or hit those placement bets. But I'm still struggling with the bets I made versus just putting all my bets into one outright on Scottie.
Yeah, I mean, it really like 3-1. You could almost bet another sport and make that easily.
I would never complain about getting 3-1 on a basketball game or a football game. That would be exciting, But in the golf world, it's crazy.
There was one time I hit the Colorado live because they were down 3-0, and you could get like 7-1 or like 8-1 or whatever. So it's almost like, I mean, if you have $10 and you just want to spend, like, you're a casual person, you're just fan, use it on somebody else, and probably in the without market. Yeah,
I use $10 as an easy number. You could say $100, $200. BK, I know BK bets like his yearly salary like 5 times a week and stuff like that, because he's just a nutso. At least I don't know if you know who BK is, but
I definitely know who it is.
Yeah. Well, you should. Yeah. I mean, me and Jason and I made BK. He had never done a podcast before. We invited him on here randomly 3 years ago. He went out and bought a microphone literally the next day. Just so anybody that loves or hates him can thank or hate us for the BK world that we all live in.
He's hilarious. No, he's hilarious.
He's great.
He's hilarious.
All right, so let's look. It's Pinehurst number 2. The last time the event was here was back in 2014. Keimer won that at 9 under, but he just destroyed the rest of the field. And he is back in the field this week, and he did make the cut at the PGA Championship. Just throwing that random bit of information out there. Not that he's a play or anything like that in DFS. But you guys are talking about around the green and putting. Like Steve, you mentioned putting. Jason, you mentioned around the green.
Make cut bet. Sorry.
Yeah, you can. I would bet Martin Keimer making the cut. I think that's a safe bet right there. While I just set up this next question, I want somebody to find the odds on Keimer to make the cut. There's a conversation going around between a lot. I've listened to a lot of people. I've listened to a lot of videos. Obviously, I watched the Cam Smith video that's been circulating from him, for 5 minutes while he was practicing on a hole. The difference between whether it's important to be a great putter or around the green, and a few people have mentioned that putting might be something that's not quite as important this week. It's more important to hit your irons great and be great around the green. And if you're okay putting, I think Cam Smith said it, as long as you get it on the green and 2 putt for par, you're good. Or if you could chip it close and tap in for par, you're better off than, taking a big risk with your iron, having the ball roll off 30 feet into some funky, fescue or something like that. We'll start with Elyse and we'll go around Elyse and Steve and Jason talking about this. Thoughts on around the green versus putting and the importance on Pinehurst here?
So it's a little bit tricky from I've listened to a lot of different things. And I think, the smartest thing is probably to play to the center of the greens. I heard that you're not going to be able to really attack pins on this course because you'll just fall off into the wrong areas and then it will be impossible to get up and down with your short game. So I actually think their short game is not going to be quite as important because I think I can see a lot of people doing kind of like putting and putting around the greens. Like everything I've heard so far is, a lot of people are like trying the putting around the greens, or like I saw Colin Morikawa with a 3-wood around the greens and he almost pulled out on that video I saw. But I think like putting is going to be tricky too because I've been hearing a lot of reports that like you putt and the ball is rolling like off the green, make 2 hard putts. So I think it's really going to be important about avoiding like 3 putts. So you want to have you're going to need to have really precise leg putting because otherwise your ball, like I said, by all reports, like I have friends on the ground this week and they're saying like the ball is just, even on the practice screen, it's rolling off the green.
There was that video. I don't know who it was. Someone dropped a video of them dropping a ball on one side of the green and it rolled to the right a little bit, then it rolled to the left and it rolled all the way past the bunker, like 30 yards off the hole. And I was like, oh my God, that's insane. So Steve, you were saying putting's important. I did 2 different things. These are some of my new things I do when I'm trying to pick golfers. I found any golfer that was in the top 10 in around the green and approach, because that's, in my opinion, the most important thing. And then because other people are talking about putting, I couldn't find anybody that was top 10 in all these categories. So I went to top 25. I went and found all the golfers that were in the top 25 in around the green, approach, and putting. And there was only 4 in each of those 2 lists that I just made that hit both those categories. Only 4 golfers, top 10 around the green and approach over the last 36 rounds. Only 4 golfers, top 25 around the green, approach, and putting. So you're focusing on putting is what you're saying, Steve, right?
Yeah. I kind of like, from one of the things that I've been reading about and listening to in videos is it's almost going to be like link style play, how firm these are going to be able to be. And so creativity and stuff like that. And I think you can get creative when it's going to be firm and fast like this. You can get creative with the putter on, like Elyse was saying, about how you don't want to go over some of these greens because now you're dealing with double bogey, triple bogey. And if you're never going to be able to play catch up on a course like this because there's not many birdie opportunities. There's only 2 par 5s. All the par 4s are, well, not all of them, but a good portion of them are over like 450 or 480 yards. So for me, putting is going to have to come into play because you're not going to have many chances to get those birdies. And then my next thing for me that would be more important is then bogey avoidance. So if you can get on the green and then not have to triple putt and you can just get those pars, be happy with pars this week. So for me, yeah, putting this week on a course like this is going to be high up there, probably number one.
Jason, I'm just going to throw this out there. The top 25 around the green, approach, and putting. You know who's not in that top 25 in all three categories? Scottie Scheffler over the last 36 rounds. So thoughts on this putting versus around the green and whatnot?
I think that's the biggest dilemma of the week. I think you're hearing so many mixed reports. Like you listen to one show and they're like, oh my God, around the green is going to be more important than it's ever been all year. Then you listen to another one and they're saying like, oh, like Elyse was saying, like these guys are putting with like Colin putting with his 3-wood. Like I don't know what the answer is to be honest with you, but I just feel like with creativity, I still think it leads to Scottie. I really do. And I know he's not the best putter in the world, but I heard an interview with Cam Smith earlier and he was saying, like, you just got to be happy here. Like, you can't be overly aggressive with your putter. You got to be happy with missing a birdie putt close enough that you can tap in for par or make a 5-footer for par. Like, you just can't be super aggressive in your putting. And I think that's the key to it. Like Steve was just saying, like, par's a good score. Like, you need pars here. Like, I mean, the winning score might be, right around even this week. So, like, you just can't make these huge blow-up mistakes. And I think the tricky part about this course is there's bogey. You're going to make bogeys. Everyone's going to make bogeys here. But there's also some holes that are relatively easy, which is a little bit strange. So it's almost like you need to score when you could score, especially on the par fives, and then just kind of like play to the field, everything else.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I have to take my glasses off to read my notebook. There are 2 par 4s that are under 400. You got 2 par 5s on it. I mean, it sounds like a long course, over 75, almost 7,600 yards, but it's only a par 70. But with how hard the course is, the runouts that are going to happen, it's really not that long of a course, so it keeps everybody in play. Everybody's talking bogey avoidance. I actually zoned in on double bogey avoidance because just like what you said, Jason, everybody's going to make some bogeys this week. No one's going to go this week without making a bogey or two each day probably. So I was almost looking for the guys that can avoid the big number because last week at the Memorial, and at least I'm sure you guys all saw this, I don't know, I didn't count, but I wish I would have paid attention from the beginning of this and tracked it. There were a lot of triple bogeys and worse last week at the Memorial. That's how tough that course was playing. What else is there, Elyse, about this course? Because, in my mind, 6, 7 under could win this event. But in my mind also, if they do something like water the greens a little bit extra or something like that to ease up, I could see a 12 or 13 or 14 underscore, someone getting hot. Maybe. No? Jason's instantly shaking his head no on that one. Elyse?
No, I mean, this is good. Like, I could see maybe like an Oak Hills kind of score, like -5, -6. I don't see something beyond that. I mean, because by all accounts, this is going to be finally like a more dry, we hope, although they did get some rain yesterday, dry U.S. Open, because we've had so much, I mean, every event on tour this year has been stopped in play at some point, it feels like, with all the like rain, and it's been like super rainy where I live in DC, so like the whole East Coast basically. It's just been like bad weather wise here, and I think West Coast also had bad weather when there was the West Coast swing. So I think with the way, like, I guess they could water the greens, but no amount of watering the greens, that's just to prevent them from being like balls like stopped. They're like literally stopped, and then they start moving. That's why they're watering the greens. Because I think Wyndham Clark said they're already borderline. So like that's why they're going to be watering the greens.
He said that on Monday.
Not to get like a -12 score. That's not.
I'm just trying to. I've taken in so much golf content this week, and I've heard a couple people say if the ball bounces the right way, we might see one. We saw Martin Keimer at this event, not like this elite golfer or anything like that, even in 2014. But I think what's he got, like 2 or 3 wins in his PGA career. Go out and shoot a 9 under, and there's only 2 other guys under par that week. So there is, in my mind, someone like Scottie Scheffler could, because he is so elite, just blow out the competition this week, and that's my thing. Let's start talking about some other names other than Scottie Scheffler. We'll start with you, Steve. Give me like 1 or 2 names. It doesn't have to be in the 10K. we could talk 8K or 9K and above. We're already 30 minutes into the show here, and we've only talked about Scottie Scheffler, basically. Steve, give me 2 or 3 names in the top half of the board that you're looking at, that you like, that you think you find some form of success here this week.
The guy who finished second right behind him this week, he's probably going to be super chalky in ownership, but Colin Morikawa is just playing out of his mind right now. Another course that's probably going to fit what he's doing right now, putting his play around the green. So he's definitely one name. And then Victor Hovland. I think what he's doing putting wise. He was one of the guys who I think he had a triple bogey this last week. Heck, I wanted to even say when you said it, Scottie had a triple bogey. So even Scottie getting a triple bogey on Saturday on the 9th, I think he still finished 1 under that on Saturday, even with that. But Hovland and Morikawa for sure. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but Rahm is out. So he's just another name that probably wouldn't have been able to give Scottie a run for his money if he was healthy. So someone else who Scottie doesn't have to deal with this week, who's high up there, who he's not going to be out there.
Jason, some other names that you want to throw into the agenda here?
Just to kind of touch on that Jon Rahm note, like, he just feels like a guy that is just miserable. Like I think he feels like he made the wrong decision. He thought he was going to be the guy that brought PGA and lived back together, and it didn't happen. Like, he just looks sad all the time. I know he's injured, but like, he just looks.
I saw somebody joke a few minutes before the show went live. Like, it puts into perspective how much pain Brooks Koepka played through with his knee, and it puts Brooks Koepka in a different light. Jon Rahm's basically got a little blister on his pinky toe and is withdrawing. I'm exaggerating a little bit here, but you get what I'm getting at. But anyway, continue on, Jason.
I feel like the top of the board is very difficult. I was drawn to Xander just because it was all around game. I just worry about Xander a little bit. I guess he got a little bit lucky when he won the PGA Championship in terms of his drive. Like, his driver, he was missing left. Like, if he misses left like he was doing at the PGA Championship, I worry about him down the stretch, contending with a guy like Scottie. So it comes down to me. I like Hovland a lot this week too, and I feel like he's under-owned. He's going to be under-owned this week, I feel like. And I feel like so many people are worried about his chipping and his on the green play. It's like, this dude is an elite ball striker. I know that he can't just hit every green in regulation here, but I just feel like the tougher the tournament, I want a guy that I know can out ball strike the field. So it's Hovland for me too.
Elyse, other names that you think could succeed at the top of the betting board or the DFS board this week?
I love Morikawa this week as well. He's so accurate. He's the number 1 player on tour in accuracy, hitting 77% of his fairways. That's more accurate than Scottie Scheffler. You're going to have to be very accurate here. He's playing really well. I like to look at guys who've contended in the majors leading up to a major win, because that's usually actually who wins. Like Xander had been like knocking on the door, and he finally won. Colin's been knocking on the door again, and I can't really look much past Colin Morikawa.
I want to go back to Jason for a second, because you brought up Xander, and I think it's very interesting, the narrative. Xander has waited so long to get that first major victory. He got the PGA Championship, and Jason, you're saying he's a little lucky. Yeah, I don't know if you guys, Steve and Elyse, agree or not with that, but the theory of how Xander follows up, finally getting getting the best golfer to never win a major, title off of his name. Elyse, how do you think that Xander responds, or do you think he's just so boring and even keeled that it's not going to phase him any at all?
So I think he's going to get a little bit more lazy for a little bit. You see this a lot of times.
I heard somebody else say that about him. That's why I brought that up.
Somebody on Twitter who's on the grounds are like, Xander's been on his phone a lot. So he's been seems less dialed, less serious. Because it kind of does loosen you up, and you get the monkey off your back. But at the same time, then you get less focused, because you're like, I finally did it. Ricky finally won again, and then the game just tanked after that. So I think for a little while, like after coming off your first major, I feel like a lot of players, they just regress a little bit. I feel like that's going to happen to Xander. He's just going to regress a little bit. I do think he'll still play really well and be like in the top like 20-ish or so, just because his floor is so high. But I don't see him winning this week.
Steve, real quickly, any thoughts on the Xander follow-up?
Very similar. I don't see him winning, still being in. I'll give him even like in the top 10 at some points. But we were talking about it before the show about how you saw the clip of him losing to Jordan, and, him talking about that. You see the clips of Barstool when, he's out there playing. So you get that monkey off the back. You're still going to play well. And he got the big win. So for him, it's like, I'm still going to do my thing, but winning isn't going to be the top on his list probably going into every tournament.
Xander is one of the 4 names that in the last 36 rounds has finished is ranked in the top 25 around the green, putting and approach.
I knew it.
Backtrack to that comment.
Yeah.
It's Rory, it's Xander, it's Cam Smith, and it's Russell Henley. They're the 4 golfers that fit into that top 25 in those 3 categories. I'm going to throw a couple names at you guys, and these are just names I'm not sure what I'm doing with yet, but names that I've piqued my interest and I've written down here. Obviously, Morikawa was one of them. I also wrote down Justin Thomas because he's a scrambler. He's a grinder. He's got a major champion. I see Jason already shaking his head now. I wrote down Cam Smith. I know Cam Smith is not great this year, but Cam Smith is a genius around the greens. He sprays the ball off the tee sometimes. And a very popular name in circles right now is Tommy Fleetwood as well, who is never a winner, but does contend in theory, from time to time. We'll start with Jason. We'll go around. Thoughts on those names I just threw out there?
Justin Thomas is a definite no for me. His putting is just so horrible right now. That combined with his, I was gonna say ability to spray it everywhere, but I guess it's his inability. So he sprays it everywhere off the tee. So I just worry about him at this course. Cam Smith is a question mark for me. I want to play Cam Smith this week. I just worry about him off the tee too. I mean, like he's even said it, like he pokes jokes at his own game, like saying like I sprayed everywhere. Like I don't even know where it's going when I hit it off the tee. That's not super inspiring going into this week. So that's not. What was the other one? Fleetwood.
Yeah, Fleetwood. He's going to be a chalky play at 8,500, but still a fan of him.
Chalk Tommy just worries me a little bit, but I feel like at his price point, like 8,500, that's a good price point for him. I mean, if he finishes 10th, you're happy with that for sure. So Tommy's my favorite out of those 3, but I don't love the ownership at almost 20%.
Anything to add, Elyse, to those 3 names I threw out there?
Not really. I don't like JT. I don't like JT personally.
Hate's a strong word.
I hate JT.
I don't hate anybody in life. Strongly dislike.
But I like Fleetwood at the best of those as well. And you mentioned Henley as well, but those to me those are more like top 10, top 20 plays. Because the win equity is not there for them.
Steve, final thoughts on those names here?
I actually think if there's anyone who's going to be able to get their first major, it's going to be Fleetwood this week. 3 top 5s in the Open. He's super accurate off the tee how you're going to need to be. So he might be able to get creative, and who knows, on those drivable par 4s, if the way that the greens are running are the way, they're firm and fast, if he's able to get lucky, because you're going to have to get lucky on some of these holes. So who knows, maybe it's his time to get his first major.
Hey guys, a fairway to heaven here on Edge of Philly Sports Network. We got some great sponsors. First and foremost, SherryTickets.com. Great moments don't just happen; they happen with you in the crowd. SherryTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Save even more at checkout by using promo code EOP10. Saves you 10% off. Why would you use anybody else? 10% off and no hidden fees. If you need a more personal touch, you can call them directly, 610-494-5050. Just let them know. Fairway to Heaven and Edge of Philly Sports is where you heard about them. Again, at 610-494-5050. SherryTickets.com. Also, of course, our great sponsors, PhillySportsTrips.com. If you want to travel to see your favorite team, they have full travel packages, tailgate experiences, you name it, to all different things, all over the place. Italian heritage at Citizens Bank Park night. It's just a tailgate. They got a trip coming up in a couple weeks to Chicago to see the Phillies take on the Cubs. They're already taking deposits for spring training next year for the Phillies. They got a trip to Miami to see the Philadelphia Union. So you name it, they got it. PhillySportsTrips.com. Again, make sure when you sign up for them, you let them know you heard about them right here on Fairway to Heaven on Edge of Philly Sports. And right back at it here, guys. That's a couple of my notes out of the way there. Put that off to the side here. Now down towards the bottom of the board here a little bit before we start trying to build a lineup somehow with him or not. Jason, you mentioned it earlier. A lot of, and Steve did too, a lot of mispriced guys in the 6K and 7K range. I'm gonna start by just throwing out names again as well, and I'll just let you guys, comment on these names that I may or may not play. Tyrrell Hatton, Tom Kim, Sam Burns, Sung J M, and Siwoo Kim. I'm going to throw Siwoo Kim's name in there as well. Jason, we'll start with you. Some of those names there, do you like them or not? And if you want to throw any other names in that range there that you like, you can do that.
I think the toughest part of this week is that the names that I didn't look at ownership until today, so I was kind of like going through a little bit trying to figure out who I like down at the bottom. The guys that I like are the guys that everybody likes. Siwoo, Tom Kim, Sam Burns, Russell Henley, Seabez. Like it's like Straka. It's like all these guys are like in the same. They're all like at least 10% owned, which scares me a little bit. And that kind of is why I feel like there's mispricing this week. It's tricky because I was trying to find guys that I liked down in this range that had low ownership, and I couldn't find a ton. One guy that's probably my favorite sleeper this week. He's good on tough courses, good on long courses. Akshay Bhatia. His ownership, I think, is about 5% this week. So I feel like I'll take my chance on a guy like that at 5% over, chalky, pretty much anybody else.
Steve, I think Steve mentioned it. He mentioned the word creativity on this course. And I think you and I, Jason, spoke after he won his first, event, earlier this year, that we talked about how he's got that creativity and what kind of tournaments he can and can't win. Some courses creativity works, some don't. So I have that name written down here to start as well. I think it's a really great play. That'd be betting wise, that'd be a consideration for like a top 20 finish or top 30 finish, something like that. Which, considering how young he is, that's pretty good. Elyse down here at the bottom. Thoughts on any of these names, placement wise, in any way, shape, or form, for bets this week?
I was going to mention Bhatia as well, because I feel like he has
that's
not
the thing
been
this week. Everybody's on the same page with every golfer this week.
Yeah, he's not and he hasn't been mentioned that much. Like the other ones that you mentioned, like Siwoo, Sung Jae, Tom Kim, Alex Noren, like Straka, they've all they're on the radar because they've been playing well, right? Like Noren's been playing like really well. Straka's been playing really well, and they're easy to fit into your lineups with Scottie Scheffler. So, but yeah, that was going to be the name I mentioned. That was kind of like people I haven't seen mentioned as much, but obviously we're all on the same page here. He's like pretty accurate actually as well. And so, and he can obviously really spike with his rounds as well. So I really like that play.
Steve, tell me you got a different name to add to this equation down here.
Well, one to mention that you mentioned was Hatton, and he's got a T9 at the Masters, but on a course like this, I can see him just losing his mind, and the camera. I mean, it's great, like for golf to be able to have that sort of like person on the course, but I can see him just having a meltdown and losing it. But for a feel-good story on Father's Day weekend, why not have, after taking a week off, why not have Robert McIntyre come in? Yeah, at what I think he's 72, and on Father's Day, finish the story from what he did 2 weeks ago in Canada and get the win and be the guy to beat, ruin Scottie's first Father's Day and everything. That's the other name. That's the other name that I'm going with is with McIntyre.
I love the narrative. Narratives are so much fun for this stuff. The only thing is you're saying that, seeing Tyrrell Hatton blow up, like half of the tournament is going to be behind a paywall. So, again, we don't get all of the tournament on basic TV, which is something annoying. And Jason, I know you
the
shared
worst.
it out, that video Cam Smith, and I reshared it out and stuff like that. Where is Golf TV when, just Golf TV in general, the Golf Channel, any other channels whatsoever? Why don't they give us more of that? Like, that was a thoroughly entertaining video. You're going to watch the U.S. Open this weekend. If you don't have Peacock, you better sign up for it because half of round 1 and 2 are going to be on Peacock. You're not even going to be able to watch some of it. Like, golf in general, you've got the potential to see guys like Hatton blowing up this week. You got potential for Cinderella stories this week, and you're making it harder, not easier for people to tune in. I know this is getting off topic a little bit, but Elyse, do you have any thoughts on that? Golf needs to do a better job here, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they do. And it's just so you have to switch from Peacock to ESPN Plus to like CBS to NBC. Like just to watch it, I'm like constantly switch, and then it's the TV products need to work for a long time, but everybody has this subscriber model now. Netflix, Disney Plus. You have to have 20 different subscriptions just to be able to see everything that you want to see. If you it's ridiculous. So it's not just a golf problem, but it's a problem.
It's a problem. Jason, tell me, if there was not a 2-hour video. Yeah, no, I see you, Steve. I was going to segue to that in a second. I was. Jason, if there was a 2-hour show every single Tuesday of just videos like Cam Smith, where reporters are following select golfers around a course while they're practicing, tell me you would not watch it. Because I know I would have it. It would be must see. It would be notifications on for that.
Well, like you guys said, I've consumed so much content already this week. Mm-hmm. That 6 minutes or whatever it was, 6 minutes and 30 seconds was by far, I won't say the most beneficial, but it was cool to hear an elite guy, what are the concerns? How are you going to play this? How are you going to play that? It's that's what, like you said, 5 minutes of going around with Scottie and Brooks and, these big name guys, just to see how they're going to play the course would be awesome. I would love it.
Steve, I know this conversation is right up your alley because you host the Attacking Third with Patty Bernard, which is for you guys. It's a Philadelphia Union MLS show, and I've said it to all the Philadelphia Union content creators I've ever interviewed on my morning show that I was slowly becoming a golf fan. Till last year, they decided to put all of MLS on Apple TV. Well, now I can't watch MLS, so now I don't watch MLS. So now I don't even know what's going on with the Union. Golf's kind of sort of in that same category, Steve, right?
Yeah, because you'll get 4 weeks in a row where it's ESPN Plus, and so you get your casual watcher who's really getting into it now, and then they're going to come to a week like this where they're like, "Oh, I can't wait for Thursday morning." They go on ESPN Plus, and it's going to be, well, where is it? And then they're going to look it up, and by then it's well, I lost my interest already because now I got to go sign up for this and sign up for that, and it's like yourself when it comes to the Union, it's the few games that aren't on Apple TV to where there are a few, you don't even care at that point. And so it's you've lost your interest on it. So you get that older fan who just wants to be able to watch it the way they always have on CBS, NBC, or whatever. And now you got to bounce from, this app, this thing, this one. It's it gets old after a while.
That's a great point too. It's when I think of that kind of stuff, I think of my dad. He loves golf, but he's not gonna watch some small tournament, but he's going to, the U.S. Open, he's going to be pumped for it. He's not going to search to watch it. You know what I mean? If it's on CBS or ESPN or something, okay, yeah, he would watch the whole round. But if he's going to have to go on ESPN Plus or something like that, he's not going to watch.
It's kind of
Amazon Prime for the NFL. I didn't watch a single Thursday night game for the first time in I don't know how long because it was all on Amazon Prime. Didn't want to have to go and change my TV to the apps, find Amazon Prime, remember my password, and log in just to watch the football game. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you on it. And I had a good joke there, and now I kind of lost my train of thought. I had a really good joke, but not good. Maybe it'll come back to me in a second. Guys, it's time. Let's do one more sponsor, then we're going to try to build some lineups here, talk specific golfers again here. Cherry Law Firm. If you get hurt at work or in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury or affected by criminal law, call our friends of Edge of Philly Sports, David Archerry, the Cherry Law Firm. He is here to fight for you and get you what you deserve. He's a dedicated, well-established personal injury law firm built on the promise of aiding the seriously injured throughout the state of Pennsylvania. give him a call if you want to talk golf, talk Scottie Scheffler with him, or something criminal or personal injury wise. Give him a call 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Again, it's David R. Cherry of the Cherry Law Firm, 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. So with that, let's try to build some lineups here. Jason, you're the stat keeper here. Where are the lineup contests going between guests, you, and me?
So I have 10 wins, you have 9 wins, and the guests have 2 wins. So the last
one of those 2 wins for the guests is who?
Elyse. I guess it would be the other way. Sorry.
No, you're the winner. You are the winner. You're one of the only 2 guests that have ever beaten Jason and I. And you don't even do much. You just said at the beginning of the show, you don't even pay. You do it for fun. Doing it for fun. What? The 2 guys that do this literally 30 lineups a week for 5 years now. So, yeah.
So Elyse is going to pick what spot she would like to draft in 1 through 4.
And it's a snake style, so 4 goes 4 and 5. So
2.
Snake style draft.
2.
Elyse is going
2.
2.
She wants 2.
Steve, where would you like to go?
I'll go 3.
3.
All right. I'll go 1. And then
So I
Phil's
get
gonna
4.
go.
Okay, I can deal with 4. I can deal with that. So Jason, let me get a new piece of paper so I can write all this stuff down here. Jason, you get to go 1, so go for it.
Well, I wasn't expecting this, so I'm going to go Scottie.
God, I was hoping I got it just so I could take them. So I do want to practice this. This is, in theory, very therapeutic for people trying because we're all going to pick different guys at the top of the board and how lineups can get built. You know, it's normally just Jason and I or 3 of us. This is the first time we've ever done this with 4 people. So it's kind of interesting to see how this is going to play out.
So Elyse is on the
Starting a
board.
little chart here so I can track this stuff. All right, so hold on. Steve's going. No, Elyse, you're going second,
Elyse.
right? So who would be your first golfer to build your lineup around, knowing Scottie is out of the picture?
Morikawa.
Ooh, I like it.
It's pretty chalky right off the bat here.
Yeah.
Steve, you're up.
Give me Bryson.
Bryson. We didn't really talk about Bryson or much of the live guys. I think Bryson and Cam Smith are realistically the only 2 live guys you can get super confident in this week and at least having a solid chance. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with that.
Who'd you say? Cam Smith and
Bryson and Cam Smith. They're the only 2 guys you can really realistically think from the live tour. Bryson because he's playing so great.
Brooks.
Cam because
Brooks.
Oh, and Brooks. Yeah, Brooks too. Yeah. We didn't really talk about Brooks either, and all that's going on with him. So, man,
Can't ever forget Brooks. You can't ever forget Brooks.
Brooks and Majors. You can never forget about them. I can't pick Brooks though. I just can't do it because he's not in my player pool, and then that means I gotta play him. Just can't do it. So we're gonna go with the other top guy on the board that I think is really great play, and that's Rory McIlroy. Will be my first play. So I'm gonna go Rory, and then I get to go again, and I am going to go down to the bottom of the lineup, and my favorite guy in the world. Steve, you know who my favorite guy in the world is, right?
Sean O'Hare.
2 gloves.
Who the heck said Sean O'Hare? I wasn't even on the screen. Dude, the one time I don't play Sean O'Hare. I play Sean O'Hare every event he's in, which isn't many. I did play him, and he shot, like a 64 in round 1 or something like that. That's because I didn't play him. Sean O'Hare's whole career has gone downhill since I started playing him in DFS. No, Bazoodenhoot. My favorite name to miss.
Okay.
Everybody makes fun of how I say Bazoodenhoot. So yeah, Bazoodenhoot. I actually think Bazoodenhoot at 6,200 is a very good DFS play this week. Another guy that, because of mispricing of everybody, shouldn't be 6,200 in this field with 5K range. So that puts you back on the board, Steve, to follow up your Bryson pick.
Next, I'm going to go Hideki.
Hideki. Okay. Jason.
Elyse.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I didn't write this down in the right order on my book here. So I'm kind of it's like a tic-tac-toe board on my piece of paper here. I should hold on. So it's Elyse, it's Jason, Elyse, Steve. Okay. Now I'm putting numbers next to our names. So now I won't mess this up anymore throughout the rest of this little contest here. Elyse, you're up.
I'm taking Brooks.
Brooks, there you go. Man, that's going top heavy right off the bat. Hey, you gotta like that. You might have 2 top 5 finishes right there in your card already.
I thought Elyse was going to take my guy, but I'm going to take him Batea.
Hey, it's a good play.
The
I
second
guarantee
one-
Batea is in at least 3 out of 5 lineups for me this week.
So the second one I'm going to take is a guy that we didn't talk about, but I really like this week. I'm going to take Cam Davis.
Cam Davis. That's interesting. He's popped a few times this year in a couple different lineups, a couple different contests.
Donald Ross guy.
Yeah,
Likes Donald
there
Ross
you go.
courses.
All right. So, Elyse, you are back on the board here.
Yep. I'm going to take a sneaky play potentially. Dean Burmeister.
Oh, I like it.
I tried to watch Live a little bit this year for guys like this, just for majors and all. I just can't get into it. It seems like he's having a great season on the Live Tour.
He is. Yep.
He was good on the PGA too, or PGA Championship.
Yeah. Another guy that probably, if he wasn't on Live, if he was having the success he's having this year on the PGA, he'd probably be priced higher.
Yep.
You know. All right, Steve, where you at now?
Give me Sepp Straka.
Sepp Straka. Okay. All right. That puts me on the board for 2, and I already know. I knew you guys weren't going to take these names, so I'm going to just take them right now before they come off. Since having the baby, he's turned his season around. I love Sam Burns this week, and Sung J M. Burns and M, I think, are solid plays. Neither of them are going to win. I don't think there's any chance either wins. But in a DFS standpoint, I think Sam Burns and Sung J M are great lineup balancers price-wise when you're playing the top guys.
I heard interesting Sam Burns and Scottie Scheffler thing. So they're best buddies. They had babies like 2 weeks apart.
Yep.
First Father's Day for both of them. Narrative Street.
I mean, somebody's got to win on their first Father's Day, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right.
That'd be crazy.
So that's 4 names for me. All right, Steve, you're back on the board for pick number 4 for you.
Give me my Rockville guy, Denny McCarthy.
Denny. Okay. Puts Elyse back up here.
Give me Thigala.
Ooh, I like that pick.
Does it concern you with Thigala, on a course that you got to hit it straight, that he sprays the ball? Because I'm a huge Thigala fan, and I seem to get him wrong every week. And I'm trying to listen to my brain and be like, this is not the week to play him. But yet then I see people, not just you, other people, all of a sudden talking about him again.
So my thing with this, Thigala's been really good in this season in general. So
Absolutely.
He's just been playing really well. And second, my thing is to play Thigala on courses where Spieth used to be good at. And I think Pinehurst would have actually fit old Spieth well. So I'm playing him.
I'm writing that down. I like that line right there. That's a fantastic line right there. I like it.
I think the thing about Thigala too is that he hasn't been his normal self around the greens. Like we know what he can do around the greens and on the greens. It's like he just hasn't really played well around the green. But if that pops this week, I mean, you saw it at the PGA. I think he finished 8th or something. Like the dude has top 10 upside for sure.
Yep.
Real quick, just a quick yes or no from all of you. Is Sahith Thigala, is he going to win a major at some point in the next 2 years? Say not in his career like Xander finally getting one. Like in the short term, rest of this year, next year maybe. Is Thigala going to win a major?
The Open. I have him winning the Open.
Okay.
Again, another place that Spieth plays well at Opens. So he's the new Spieth.
He has the creativity for it.
Yeah. Jason, yay or nay? You've been hot and cold on Thigala this year.
I say no. I think at some point he will, but I don't think in the next 2 years.
Okay. I think, Jason, you're on the board for 2 shots here.
Yeah. I'm going to go Tom Kim.
Love it.
Be my first play. And then I'm going to go with Cam Smith as my second play.
Okay. I think Cam Smith is an excellent play this week. I just love putters and around the green guys on this course, and I think he just fits too perfectly this week. Even I kind of feel like that the spraying off the tee is over talked about a little bit because everybody's gonna be making mistakes this week. So if you miss a couple fairways, but you're great around the green, you can make up the difference from people that aren't great around the green but hit it in the fairway. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like there could be a balance between what kind of players do well this week. So
it's looking too like I could be wrong on this, but just kind of like from the flyovers that I've been watching, it looks like the real trouble is right off of the fairway too. It's like if you miss, not that I want my guys to spread all over the place, but like if you miss bad, you might be in a better situation than if you miss by 5 yards. So
yeah, I agree with that. All right, so that puts you back up on the board there, Elyse.
Did anyone take Tommy yet?
No.
Tommy who? Fleetwood? Nope, he's on the board.
Tommy
was going to be my next pick, but you can go ahead and do it. This is like a fantasy football draft right now. Getting sniped here.
Yep, sorry. Taking him. Have to.
I like it. It's a good play. It's a good solid play right there.
Steve is on the board.
All right. Give me Alex Noren.
Noren it is.
Noren fits this course, I feel like, too. It's like you wouldn't think of him as like he's not super long, but like good around the green, like plays well and like surprisingly tough courses. Like awesome at Sawgrass this year, good in the PGA too. So I like that pick.
I think people are coming off of him too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm on the board for my final two picks here, and I'm trying to see how I can make this all work, but whatever. We'll just wing it here. We're gonna go Justin Thomas with my first pick. Because I know you guys aren't high on him, but I'm telling you, Justin Thomas is going to have himself a week this week. I like Justin Thomas, and I'm going to go Tyrrell Hatton as my final play. Leaves a little bit more than I like on the table at 700, but everyone else between Hatton and who I had left were just not good plays. So we're going Justin Thomas. Hatton. My lineup
three guys that are most likely to throw their club in the water this week.
Hey, I picked the most entertaining line there is. It is the most entertainment is in my lineup. Rory, Bozudenhout, Burns, Ims, JT, Hatton. You might get some expletives, broken clubs, thrown clubs. Yeah. You might get it all.
Torn shirt.
You might get a Father's Day present for one.
Ooh, man,
you guys
this
wonder why I've been so bad at golf picks this year. So Steve,
I'm gonna go
final play.
My last pick. Give me Victor Hovland.
I thought about going with Vic there instead of JT, but I didn't want to do it. I wanted to save you, Steve. What's that leave on the table there for you, lineup wise?
2,000.
That is a huge leave on the table.
Wow.
Well, Steve, I love it because you know what? Nobody's going to dupe your lineup. Again, it's Bryson, Hideki, Sepp, Denny, Noren, and Hovland. I guarantee there's not one other lineup configured like that with 2,000 left on the table.
Yeah.
Kudos to you for going there. I like that. Elyse?
This name will be kind of controversial. Scam Young.
Wow.
It is a controversial name.
Phil, you know how you can't stop playing Aaron Rye? Elyse cannot stop playing Cam Young, no matter how bad.
And she can't stop calling him Scam Young in tweets either. So
the best is
until he's not.
Tweets when she's like, "Yeah, I'm betting Cam Young." I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm betting Scam Young again. It's like you see that like almost every week.
Every week we get this. It's like I think Elyse copies and pastes the same tweet week to week. Just changes the odds.
I've been accused of that.
I like when she's like, I'm not betting Spieth, but I am betting Cam Young.
I think it's all AI. I think she just got like an AI program that just pre-sends out the Scam Young tweet every single week.
All right, I'm gonna go.
Grayson, you're up to finish out your lineup.
Mr. Irrelevant. I'm gonna go Matt Fitzpatrick.
Former U.S. Open champion. You know, I thought he was turning around when he realized he had extra weight on his club and he took it off and he had one good week. Then I realized that wasn't what was the problem in his game. So I don't know.
Good last week. I'm hoping he can continue it.
Yeah,
so
we'll see about that. Real quick, guys. I know you guys aren't involved in this, but Jason and I have a season-long one-and-done contest going. I think we both picked Scott last week. So you're still crushing me overall, right?
I'm up by $3.5 million right now. I crossed the 10 million mark finally. But yeah, we both hit the winner last week.
Exactly. So I'll let you pick first because I need to close the gap. And I took Scottie, and you just played strategy and matched my pick last week.
That's not what I did.
What you did. You strategized to continue beating me, but that's okay. We'll let that slide.
I'm picking Hovland this week.
Hovland as your one and done. Gotcha. Now I'm going to give you a name, and where's my? I can't read my notes anymore.
Shit, I meant
There's so many names all over this
I
here.
meant to make an updated list today, and I forgot.
Yeah, I need an updated list because I know Bryson's not available. I know Rory's not available. Scottie's not available. You know what? I'm not playing him in DFS. I'm not betting him, but you never bet against him in a major. I'm going to go Brooks Koepka as my one and done. Okay? I think there's only 2 weeks left to use Brooks this week in the Open Championship.
Yeah.
So I'll save Cam Smith. I'll save Cam Smith for the Open, and I'll use Brooks this week.
That's what I was going to do.
I'm going Brooksy there. So there we go. Real quick, we're no rush or anything like that, but Elyse, your only outright bet is on Scottie Scheffler, you're saying?
Yep.
Do you have any other bets you like, placements, anything else that you've already submitted?
A double on Scottie and Xander to top 20.
Scottie, okay. That's a
Parlay.
pretty solid, easy bet right there for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Steve, any names we haven't mentioned that you really like this week, or have you made any bets on somebody to win this week? Anything you want to add that we just didn't get to cover just yet?
Fleetwood, I'm going to have as my winner. I'm going to put a few bets on there, and then Sepp to finish in the top 5.
Sepp
I really think he's
top 5.
Oh.
Yeah, I figure he's due for one. And I think the way he's playing, he's in that stretch because he was in a stretch last year too, where it was like, oh my gosh, he's playing some incredible golf. And I think he's in that stretch right now where if someone could do it, it might be him who's going to beat Scottie.
That's an interesting bold pick, but you know what? I love interesting picks like that. That's kind of exciting right there. Jason, anything you want to throw in here, names or bets that you've made?
I went wild this week. So I have 4 outrights.
Wow.
I have Scheffler to win plus Xander top 10 at plus 820. I have Hovland at 18-1. I have Morikawa 18-1. I have Bryson 20-1, and then I took 2 guys without Scheffler. I took Thigala at 45-1, and then Horschel 130.
Horschel.
I have not made any bet. Like I said, no outright bet. So I had a good because I can't find it in my notes. I did bet Rory top 10 plus 125, Xander top 10 plus 120, and then I did a parlay. I did Bryson, Brooks, and Fleetwood all top 20, and it pays a little over 8-1. So Bryson, Brooks, and Fleetwood. I just tried to get a little bit more creative this week with the betting, just to kind of maximize my opportunities to make some money. So yeah, there's that. Guys, real quick before we wrap this show up, our final 2 sponsors of the show: Dolan's Bar for 65 years, the quintessential Irish American dive bar in Ridley Park. Check them out, JP and his crew. DolansBar.com on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. 24 East Sellers Avenue, back where I grew up in my old hometown. Great bar right there. Make sure you check them out. And not really sponsored, just a shout out to one of the other teams on Edge of Philly Sports. Chet and Gang, Philly Press Box Radio will be celebrating their 500th episode on Saturday, June 23rd. And they're going to have 3 Philadelphia Flyers legends, Joe Watson, Jim Jackson, and Lou Nolan live at the restaurant for their live recording of their show. So make sure, if you got nothing to do on Sunday, June 23rd, go check them out. Meet Jim Jackson, Joe Watson, etc. So shout out to Chet and the crew for 500 episodes there. I love that, guys. Go around, Elyse and Steve, where people can find you. I know, Elyse, you're not really a tweeter. You're just an AI scam young tweet, and that's it. But where can they find you and your stuff?
Yeah, so if you want just annoying tweets, apparently made by AI, my handle's posted right there. ES Golf Bets.
Appreciate it, Steve. Well, obviously, where they could find you, and also you guys got Attacking the Third Thursday night this week.
Yes, we do. You can find me at Soldier Steve 247 on Twitter, X, and then every Thursday at 9 on Edge of Philly Sports, Attacking Third with Pat Bernard, and then my articles. You can find those. You can read those on the Edge of Philly Sports website.
Okay. And I'm going to close this very simply. It is Father's Day weekend. To my side here, I've got 2 fathers here. Jason, Steve, I don't know you as well. I've just met you recently. I've known Jason for 4 years. He is a fantastic father to Jax. So happy Father's Day to Jason and Steve. Happy Father's Day to all the dads. I'm just gonna say, like, to me, the U.S. Open and Father's Day is just it's perfect. You know, and like it's just something that I have memories of, and everybody that's golf fan does. So happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, especially to my two dads that are sitting here next to me on the screen here. With that being said, guys, we're gonna wrap up Fairway to Heaven right here. We'll be back next week with another elevated event. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully, we are not talking another Scottie Scheffler win, but in reality, probably are, guys. So everybody have a great Tuesday. Everybody have a great Father's Day, and we will talk to you guys next week. Dude, like, share, subscribe, follow Edge of Philly Sports on every single platform, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great day, and bubbles up. Hey guys, we're still live. Hit the wrong